I sit a lot for work, and that does a lot of damage on my legs and my hips. So I was looking for apps, stretching apps to help combat this. One of them is the Stretch It app. It's a wonderful app, a lot of great content in there. However, as I was going through the onboarding flow, I noticed there was a lot of issues. So let's quickly go through the general flow of it, and I'll talk about how I would solve it with some design and psychology principles. So the flow very generally is there's this chat function where they ask you a bunch of questions, they get to know you and some of what you're looking for. They create a personalized plan for you, and then they ask you to subscribe. It's a business, you have to make money, of course. And if you don't choose to do the subscription, which I didn't, I want to experience a little bit more of the product first. They give you these free classes that you can go and enjoy, which is great. However, I noticed there was a bunch of issues, particularly around this screen here. There's a lot of areas that we can fix, and this is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about how we can fix this with a little bit of design and a little bit of psychology principles. So let's dive in. The way I'm going to approach this is in 4 different levels. So I'm going to show how we can improve it 4 different ways. So we'll start simple and we'll get more and more advanced. So this is level 0. This is just me wireframing the existing page. Just going to work off wireframes, kind of move away from the visuals. I didn't want to get caught up in the visuals. Just really want to get caught up in the content and how we're presenting it. So this is this screen, just the same screen, just wireframed. So level 1. We're going to do reduce, prioritize, and organize. So this is a very simple, basic concept that you can apply to any of your designs, just thinking through all the content on your page and thinking how you can reduce the information, prioritize some information, and organize it. So the first thing I did was reduce the number of classes. So here we go. This is what we had initially. So I reduced it. A lot of that comes down to the paradox of choice, which is too many choices can lead to dissatisfaction and decision fatigue. We want to make it easy for a new user to select a class. Also, they just went through a whole fairly lengthy onboarding. They're already making a lot of decisions. We really want to simplify it for them at this point. So reduce the number of classes. There's a load more classes if they want to see more. But the idea here is we're trying to just put up our big 4 here, the ones that we think people are really going to be interested in. As you can see, I prioritized one of them. So this one right here is moved above. This is the one we're going to try to get people to get into. So again, trying to minimize the choices here that the user has to make, and really trying to offer like a really good class that they'll enjoy. So using a little bit of design to separate and prioritize the class that we think is going to be best for our user. And then as far as organization, in their design, the way they have it, it felt very unorganized. They have full body express, relax express 8, stretch break 2, full body class 1, splits class 4, 13, bendy back 3. Feels a bit random and all over the place. So for my organization, I just simply thought, what if we just gave them a range of options? So you got the full body express, you have a relax, a stretch, or a full body class. So there's probably a little bit more we could do there in organization, but I thought it was a bit random to have the random numbers, the 8, the 2, the 1, the 4. Let's kind of keep it simple, offer you a bit of a range. Do you want to do a full body? Do you want to do a relax, a stretch? Whichever ones you want to do, we have that. So that's organization. But as you can see, really leaned on the reduction and the prioritization of the information here. That is level 1. Level 2, we get into the nudging effect. So nudging is subtle changes in the way choices are presented, which can significantly influence people's decisions without restricting their freedom of choice. So we already did this with the prioritization. When we move this image up or this class up, we're basically telling the user like, hey, like you should select this one. And that's okay, as long as we feel like this is a really good class. The way I'm going to add on to it is we're just going to tag it as recommended. Again, just pushing or nudging the user to go to this one class. We're not restricting their freedom of choice. They can still select from any of these other classes or load more classes, but really nudging them into this one. Again, the thought here is let's reduce the amount of decisions you have to make and push you into a class that we feel will be really good. You want to use nudging, you want to make sure you use it in a very ethical and smart way. You don't want to nudge people to places where you don't think they want to go, or places where only you as a business get value. You want to push them to places where they're going to get value as well. So the class that we would nudge them to is one where we feel is a really good one, perhaps from all of our previous users who told us like, hey, this is a really good class. We really enjoyed it, especially as a beginner. That's what we're going to nudge people towards. So nudging is a very powerful, really strong, and you can see just with a little bit of design, whether that's adding a recommended tab or just using some prioritization, you can nudge people a certain direction. That's level 2. Level is, here we go. Level 3, we're going to get into faces. I have too many there. So this is a bit of a minor one, but generally people are wired to recognize faces quickly. So we're going to add a face on top. The Stretch It app, they're very face forward. They show you the instructors. Obviously, you're going to see the instructors. Their faces are throughout the app. So we're just going to lean into that. And whether it's in the thumbnail, on top of the thumbnail, just try to get a face there. Again, this is a little bit more around nudging as well. So just pushing people towards this one, making it a little bit more inviting, making it easy to draw my eye and really capture people's attention there. You'll see this a lot on YouTube thumbnails. There's a lot of people who make sure they have their face on the thumbnails because those tend to get more clicks. So kind of using that same logic here and that same principle, leveraging faces. That's level 3. And then level 4, we're going to tap into the self-relevance effect. This is just personalization. So people tend to favor things that are personalized or tailored to them. So now we're changing the content. So it's not random classes. And now we're in random free classes. Now we're seeing free classes for Coleman. So these are classes that are personalized for me. You could see the recommended. I got an extra face there. Recommended for Coleman. So no longer just recommended. It's recommended for me. And then it's not a, what did we have before? It was full body express. Now we have fix your hips for desk workers. So when I went through the onboarding, I specifically mentioned the hips are what I'm working on because I sit too much because I'm a desk worker. They know that about me, and now they're creating a tailored plan for me to fix my hips for desk workers, and it's recommended for Coleman. So really leaning into that personalization there. And then these classes that follow are also in there. Hip flexor, flexor 1, flexor 2, hip mobility are tailored for me. It's a way of saying, hey, we heard you, we know what you want, you told us, and here's something for you. So now we went from a design that had a lot of random classes that wasn't personalized, where I had to kind of figure out which one to choose, and it was all unorganized, to a design that kind of pushes me to a class that we feel you'll really like, and that's tailored for you and makes it much easier for me to get through the flow and enjoy a class that's made for me, meaning I'll be more likely to go ahead and use the app more and eventually subscribe. So that just shows you how you use a little bit of design principles and psychology principles to improve the design of your app. The main ones there: reduce, prioritize, organize, and then there's a lot of nudging as well and some overlap in those two. Again, with nudging, could be very powerful, so you make sure you use it in an ethical way. You don't want to nudge people in places that are going to be detrimental. Those are dark patterns. We don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're presenting really good content and useful content and useful product that the user will benefit from, and nudge them that way.